Sarah? You got that now, love? God, that's Sarah Barris. Might be one of Spain's leading dancers, but still needs a bit of tuition from her old mate Ness, just to keep her at the top of her game, you understand. It's quite a lonely life when you're touring, but to be honest, I've got decent digs, so I'm not complaining like. So, Elite, what's occurring? Well, it's been 5 years since those heady days in Bournemouth, and looking around, well, to be honest, the years haven't been kind to some of you. Good to see Stuart Linnell here. Nasty business in January. And if the truth be told, if I'd been on duty at police HQ that morning, the outcome would have been very different. So I'm sorry about that, Stu. I owes you one. To be fair, it is a bit awkward seeing the two Bobs again after that time in Vegas. We was having a cracking time after the last conference. Then it all got a bit messy. Last time I seen them, they was drinking tequila from the hollow of a croupier's palm, and I thought, I want no part of that. So I left them and hitched a ride with Gladys Knight and two of the Pips, and to be fair, I've not seen them since. You're probably wondering what else I've been up to since we last met. After I talked to you travel folks, I thought I might give this travel industry lark a whirl, and so I put myself out there. Do you know, there was quite a queue for my services. I spent a bit of time advising the only 8 hotels down in Mauritius, and they was grateful for my input. I's just heard they've opened a new swanky hotel in Morocco. Extreme measures by King Mohammed to get me closer to home, but then he did have it bad for me. But even though the Indian Ocean was lush, I kept thinking about you independent travel agents back home. When I met you all in 2009, we were right in the middle of a recession and times were tough, and that got me to thinking. What's got them through was my first thought. You may not have realised, but I'm Welsh, and although I might not seem it, I'm a pretty independent kind of girl. I think being a Celt means we have that independent streak in us and we don't suffer fools gladly. So over the years I've used my independence, and my looks if I'm honest, to study you independent travel agents, see what I could pick up from you. Me and Simon Oram, or Simon O as I like to call him, had met in Mauritius. Things seemed to be going well in our business partnership. I mean, don't get me wrong, I loves him. He's a good bloke. But at the end of the day, he's needy. He's always after me for something. And in the end, it seemed he was just using me to get closer to Jensen Button. Now, I'm not one to exploit my friends and connections, so we've had to split. He'll get over it. A big influence too was Nigel Armitage. But to be honest, we fell out over karaoke one night. We had a discussion about who has the best voice. Nige thought it was him, but I've been told by both Simon Cowell and Stockache and Waterman that my voice is outstanding. It's just that singing is not something I'm particularly interested in. But obviously I couldn't let Nigel have that one. I'm not being arrogant, that's just the way it is. After that, I felt I'd enhanced my skills enough to start offering advice about how agents could use their independence as a strength. So I got hired by a tidy little agency called Jolly Good Travel.
Good morning. My name is Lorena Archer-Brown, and I've been working in travel for rather a long time. When Vanessa told me she was going to be speaking to you all in the lovely cultural city of Seville, I thought it would be rather fun to tell you how our agency has been faring since we last met over 10 years ago. As you can imagine, we've seen a lot of changes in our little world since the heady days of booking passage to India for our lovely customers. I really do miss pounds, shillings and pence. But times must change and people move on. Indeed, that's what Vanessa told me. I'll always remember her sweeping into our agency on what had started as a very ordinary Monday morning. I will admit that I thought she might be in the wrong place, as she didn't look like our type of customer at all. But then again, these days one shouldn't judge a book by its cover. With her help, we've made a lot of changes over the last 10 years, including our dog. But one thing that hasn't changed is our independence. We've resisted being taken over, bought or seduced, although to be honest we probably could have done with a shiny new paint job at some time. Excuse me. Good morning, Lorena Archer Brown. Oh yes, Mrs. Cunningham Smythe, lovely to speak to you. Could I call you back a little later? I'm just in the middle of something right now. Absolutely no problem. Thank you so much for calling. Goodbye. So sorry about that. We've not changed our surroundings too much, but we have changed our attitude. We fly our independence from our virtual flagpole, and we tell all our customers how they benefit from it. We get an unrivaled choice and variety of holidays, and confidence that if our suppliers say it's right for our customers, then it is, and we're not being recommended it because someone is told to push that particular product. That sort of thing used to go on in the war, and I'm not one to be caught out again. We have had to embrace the interweb, of course, but I tend to leave that to the youngsters in our agency, as they can really dig our new customer sectors. However, I must confess to flirting with the odd tweet now and again. I found it rather liberating, in fact. Of course, we have suffered from the price war, but we've really narrowed down our partners and where and what we sell. We've looked after our business partners, and they've looked after us. We've become specialists, working with specialists, and all the paint in the world can't replace independent expertise and knowledge. It's been so lovely to see you all again, and I'll leave you now with our new catchphrase, courtesy of Vanessa, of course. This isn't just good travel, this is jolly good travel. Tidy.
So you see, independence matters for all of us, big or small. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention I kept the dog when I left Jolly Good Travel. Seemed like a fair trade. My old flame, John Prescott, he roped me in recently to help Alex Salmond with the Scottish independence campaign. Now, while I don't usually get involved in politics, well, not since the affair and all, as a Celt and an independent woman, I didn't feel I could just stand by and not give them the benefit of my experience. We've all got to support one another. If truth be told, Alex and Nikki weren't too keen on adopting my advice, even though I thought the blue face paint was a votes winner. And look how well it's turned out. Not at all. I've had to wash my hands of it. Life can be a cruel mistress. I know it's not easy being me, and it's probably harder being you. I've had some good times, especially with Wayne. I've had some bad times, especially with Wayne. I've had my ups and my downs. I've been through the mill, and I've done whatever the opposite is. There's a lot of wisdom in this brain of mine. Too much for the back of a postage stamp, as it turns out, so I had to scrap that idea. And I want to share that wisdom with you now. So here's my own top 3 facts about why independence matters. Know who your friends are and stand by them no matter what. By your friends, I mean the people you does business with. Form strong relationships with like-minded and independent partners, and work that independence as a strength for your customers. A good partnership is the most valuable thing in the world. Well, technically certain drugs are more valuable and they're easier to smuggle across certain borders, but that's all in the past now. Remember though that independence doesn't always mean freedom. So be careful who you jumps into bed with. Make sure before you enter into a partnership that you've still got the freedom to deliver impartiality to your customers. Obviously that's good advice I should have followed before I found myself sharing a tour bus with all 8 members of Goldie Looking Chain, but you live and learn. And finally, keep your independent integrity. Getting integrity is hard work, but losing it can be pretty easy. There was a time when I was seduced by easy money, I won't lie to you. Setting up my own relative value hedge fund, using asset-based securities and relative volatility arbitrage was one of those times. I'm sure you can see the gaping hole in that plan, and thank God I did too before it was too late. So I invested my £500 in a tax-free ISA instead, and I felt a lot happier. I might not have been rich, but I still had my independence and I still had my integrity. Well, I got to wrap up now. Simon Calder is on next. How goes it, Simon? All right? I was having dinner with Amal, the editor of The Independent, down Tooting Way one night. Once he'd recovered from the disappointment of me turning him down for the job of travel editor, he mentioned the other candidate he had in mind, young Simon here. I said, look, Amal, I don't know the bloke, but any guy whose favourite train journey is Mahuntlet to Betheli is all right in my book. It's been lush talking to you all. I knows I'm not really Neil Basnett's cup of tea, which is something of a mystery to me, to be honest, as I ask you, since when have an open mind and a grey rack not been a man's type? Talking of grey racks, here's Sarah Archer, tidy.